Hello everyone, my name is Gina and this is my February wrap-up and March TBR video. So I'm just going to jump right into what I have read in February, and I only have 3 books to show you that I physically own. However, I've read 8.5 books this month. I have also started a couple other books, and my currently reading list is getting way out of control, but that's for another time. So the first book that I finished this month was Cinder by Marissa Meyer. I absolutely loved this book. It was incredible. It had me till the very end. I cannot wait to read Scarlet, and I really wanted to pick up Scarlet right away, but I also just kind of want to pick up Scarlet whenever I have a good amount of time where I can just sit and read it. That way I don't have to break up that reading, because these books are incredible. I did give this a 5 out of 5 on Goodreads. The next book that I have to show you that I have read in February is Bedtime Stories for Children You Hate by Antoinette Bergen. This book was interesting. It's a bunch of just like little short stories, you know, bedtime stories, if you will, for essentially children you hate. I gave this a 3 out of 5 on Goodreads because there are a couple of stories in here that I thought were really pretty good and were kind of creepy and had me guessing, like I didn't know what was going to happen in the end of them. But then there were a couple that I just wasn't pleased with and that I didn't like. So that is why I gave this a 3 out of 5 on Goodreads. And the last physical book that I have to show you is A Silver Linings Playbook by Matthew Quick. I absolutely loved this book. However, I'm really glad that I've seen the movie before I read it. Because being a fan of the movie, I was looking for certain things that were in the movie that never actually happened in the book. And it was kind of interesting to see what they left out and what they added into the movie. And I think that they did the movie really well because the movie is incredible. The movie doesn't follow the book exactly, but that is okay. That is okay. I love both the movie and the book. The book was amazing. I did give it a 5 out of 5 on Goodreads, and I would definitely read this again sometime. And the next 5 books that I have, I listened to on audiobook that I got from the library, so I don't actually have them. The first book was Food, a Love Story by Jim Gaffigan. I loved this book. It was hilarious, it was really well written, and the fact that it was read by Jim Gaffigan himself just made it that much better. Basically, Food, a Love Story is Jim Gaffigan going through all the different types of food and kind of telling what he likes about it, what he doesn't like about it, and he goes through and has different stories about the food, and it was just an amazing book, and I'm so glad that I listened to it. It was just incredible. Another book that I read on audiobook was American on Purpose by Craig Ferguson. This was another book that I really enjoyed because I'm a huge fan of Craig Ferguson. I've been wanting to read this book for a while now, and I finally did, even though it was on audiobook. And just like with Jim Gaffigan, I'm really glad that I listened to the audiobook because Craig Ferguson himself read it. Basically, American on Purpose is Craig's journey from being a kid all the way through until he got his American citizenship. So it covers a wide range of his life and how he got into acting and how he got into comedy, and it was just a really well put story, and he finished his thoughts clearly and had like specific stories to tell, and listening to him read it was just incredible because he did all the voices himself, and it was just a really good book, and I did give it a 5 out of 5 on Goodreads. The next book that I listened to on audiobook was The Coldest Girl in Cold Town by Holly Black. I've heard great things about The Coldest Girl in Cold Town, which is why I wanted to pick it up. I'm glad I got it from the library and actually didn't buy it. I did give it a 3 out of 5 on Goodreads, which it's probably more like a 3.5. I wasn't really into it until close to the end of the book. I just feel like there was a lot in that book that didn't need to be said, and I think she kind of stretched out stuff too much. Had I been reading it myself, honestly, I probably would have put it down, but it also might be a factor of the person that was reading it. I didn't really enjoy listening to her talk, and she was just kind of bland. I don't know. I had some issues with that audiobook, but I did enjoy the story once it got to the end of it. Towards, you know, the late middle of the book through the end, I was really invested in the story, and I'm really glad I stuck with it. Once you get through all of the character background and like the buildup of what's happening and what's going on, the story gets really good. I just wish we had more of the drama and the action and less of all that buildup, which I don't think was necessarily important to the story. but that's just me. The next book that I listened to on audiobook, I also gave 3 out of 5 stars, and that is Dirty Daddy by Bob Saget. I was really looking forward to listening to Dirty Daddy. I've been tempted to buy it for a while now, and I'm really glad that I didn't, because I didn't enjoy it. I enjoyed getting to know a little bit more about him, which is why I gave it a 3, because I didn't like it, but I didn't hate it also. I just think that he could have done a better job explaining things and going through the stories better. And the last book that I listened to on audiobook this month was I Am Not a Serial Killer by Dan Wells. I loved this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 on Goodreads. It was just really amazing. A friend recommended it to me, and I kind of went into it not knowing too much what it was going to be about. The description was that it's kind of like Dexter, only not. So that was kind of intriguing, so that is why I picked that book up. Basically, this book is about a 15-year-old kid who has serial killer traits, and he knows that he has serial killer traits, and he's obsessed with serial killers, and he loves studying about them, and he goes through some hard times. Well, there's also been a murder in his town, so he's really intrigued to find the killer because he's obsessed with serial killers, and it was just a really good book, and I did listen to it on audiobook. The only complaint I have about the audiobook is the fact that it's told from the point of view of a 15-year-old kid, yet the guy reading it didn't change his voice at all when he was reading the dialogue of the kid. Like, I understand you maybe don't change the dialogue whenever you're just kind of reading, you know, the main story point, but when there's dialogue between him and other characters, I feel like it would have been better had he changed his voice a little to make it sound more childlike and not adult man. That just kind of bugged me, but that's really the only thing that I had against that book. So now for my March TBR. I'm not really going to go into what these books are about because some of them I don't really know, and then some of them are like so well known that I feel everybody knows what they're about, so I'm just going to kind of show you what books I plan on reading in the month of March. The first book, which might end up being a February read book depending on if I finish it today or not, is The Reptile Room by Lemony Snicket. I'm about halfway through this book. I could easily finish it today if I have time to just sit down and read it, so this will be the first book that I complete in March. After I complete that this month, I do want to read the third book of the series of Unfortunate Events series, which is The Wide Window. The next book that I plan on reading in March is Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. There is a read-along for this book this month, so that is why I'm picking it up. I'm super excited to be joining in on the read-along, and hopefully I can at least get a good chunk of this done this month, if not finish the whole thing. The next book that I plan on reading, which I believe I'm going to go ahead and get it from audiobook from the library, is Divergent by Veronica Roth. But I really want to read this month, and hopefully I can also read Insurgent this month, so that way I can finally see Divergent and then go and see Insurgent when it comes out. The next book that I plan on reading in March is going to be a buddy read with Brianna from Bumblebee Bookworm. Denny is also going to be reading this with us, so it's going to be a fun time, and that is An Abundance of Catherines by John Green. The next book that I plan on reading I've already mentioned in this video, and that is Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. The next book that I plan on reading I am borrowing from Denny, and this also fulfills my March TBR jar, which I have already picked. And the thing that I picked for my March TBR jar was borrow something, so it works out perfectly, and that is The Beast Within by Serena Valentino. I'm really excited for this book. I know Denny didn't like it too much, but we'll see if I do. Beauty and the Beast is my favorite Disney story. Belle is my favorite Disney princess, so I'm really looking forward to this. The next book that I hope to at least start in March is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I've been really looking forward to this book for a couple of months now, so since her new book just came out, I figured I might as well go ahead and read this, so hopefully I can get A Darker Shade of Magic sometime in the near future and read that one as well. Now, this next book is going to be a stretch, because I've picked a lot of like big books to read this month, but I at least want to start on it, and that is Night Film by Marisha Pessel. I just got this book last night. It was on the bargain shelf. So excited it was finally on the bargain shelf because I've been wanting this book for a while and I cannot wait to start it. And the last book that I plan on reading this month is Ed Sheeran's A Visual Journey. So that is my February wrap up and my March TBR. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. As always, links to everything in the description below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.